Okay, so our topic was race and gender in the beauty industry. According to a report, the global cosmetics products market was valued at around $532 billion US dollars in 2017 and is expected to reach approximately 863 billion USD in 2024, growing at a CAGR of slightly above 7% between 2018 and 2024. This is important because it shows that people have the income to spend on beauty products and products that focus on making them feel better as a society. So our group research question was how the representation of race and gender affects the beauty industry. The solutions we found were Meena Rana Raha, who applied Sandoval's theory of oppositional consciousness to the beauty community to balance social oppression, injury, and social control as a resistance to gender oppression. And then we had a second solution, which is to overcome beauty assemblage of the social forces such as gender, race, and class that shape the ideas of beauty in the beauty industry by feminist protests to consider everyone as beautiful, not just oppressing people who we see as not beautiful. I'm gonna now pass it off to Rebecca to talk on the historical lens.
So my thesis was a minority's role in society has never been one that is respected by others, so they're not seen as an ideal, beautiful woman, making it possible to become accepted as beautiful by society. So I was going to begin with African Americans, and because they have been looked down on by society throughout history, it's been difficult for them to blend into the beauty community and be represented correctly. And so I used the baby doll test to show that even toddlers who don't really understand the concept of race can still be asked the question, which doll is beautiful, and pick the white doll instead of the African American doll, which could be beautiful as well. So for Rose to talk about African Americans in the beauty industry, she has the social and cultural lens.
So my thesis statement was the beauty industry creates an image of Western hegemonic ideology of light skin and straight hair that leads to social struggles for people of color to meet these standards. And society's pressure on black hair. So I used Ingrid Banks' quote, "The closer to white, the better," and this just gets to how society pressures people of color to look more white, to like make their hair straighter, to look more white, and to get cosmetics and stuff to be closer to looking white. So I used Michelle Obama, and so when Michelle Obama got elected, if you guys not like this, as the first lady, she was more. She always straightened her hair when she went out in public, and that just proves that, she will not be accepted for her natural hair. And in the politics of black women's hair, they comment that if she went with her natural hair, she will look too black, too out there, and too strong. And I use Althea Prince's quote, "And as long as raised dreadlocks and afros continue to be considered socially radical hair, black women in public life will always have a struggle to meet those standards." And I use this picture because in this picture, I'm focused on her hair because she never really wore her hair like that, and it just shows that it's not really accepted in our society.
Discuss tonight over this video now circulating the internet of this moment of humiliation. New Jersey high school wrestler Andrew Johnson having his dreadlocks cut by a trainer before.
So this video was about how dreadlocks were cut during the match, and they cut his dreadlocks because it was not in its natural state and that it was violating the rules. And he was humiliated by his hair, so natural hair was not really accepted. And for my solution, I think that black communities have to stop pressuring people of color to meet the standards of looking more white and acting more white, and that they need to stop oppressing them to get their hair a certain way or act a certain way to be accepted. And then now I'll be passing it on to Paige, who talks about the psychological lens.
Okay, so my thesis statement was beauty standards defined by the beauty industry are enforcing our country's rigid gender roles. To speak on this, Johannes Emsteger, an online journalist, describes the roles created by explaining feminine and masculine are social constructs. They are not real, and they only exist because we continue to push them in their existence. So basically, the term feminine and masculine have become society's restrictions for expression. If you think about the word beauty, beauty is seen as a feminine role. It's a feminine aspect, not so much as a masculine aspect. In the masculine role, there's no equivalent to beauty. So the change in beauty industry has created a society in which defined by gender. I'd like to say that in America, the roles for women have changed. From the 1920s, the flapper was created, and that was to symbolize a woman growing her standards and changing to what she believed was beautiful. For the masculine role, there has been no bend or change to define a man's role. Basically, we've been teaching women that they should break society's rules, they should break society's standards, but we haven't done the same for men. So my solution would be to address our society's issues with masculinity while allow roles in men's beauty to develop. I got this solution from Susanna Welford, the founder of the Running Start organization. She suggests if we want to create an equitable society, one in which everyone can thrive, we need to also give boys more choices. Welford explains that by opening masculine ideals, we can relieve social pressure put on boys. I'll be passing it off to Alex Anderson on the academic ones.
Okay, so there are 3 things I want to talk about in my side of the presentation. The first being my thesis was men are changing the beauty industry by proving that the historically niche market of men's makeup is a profitable industry. Fenty Beauty is the brand that really got the ball rolling for the commercial success of men's makeup. When Rihanna, the founder of the brand, released her foundation back in 2017, she made sure to have an inclusive shade range and really throw the message of positivity into her brand. She made sure to include people of all gender and sexual orientations. I have a list here of people that she added. She also has a ton of people of different religions, races, and genders on the Fenty Beauty Instagram page. This created a domino effect, and other brands caught on to Fenty Beauty's success. By the end of 2017, Fenty Beauty had reportedly made $72 million, according to Newsweek. And after their success, other brands started adding male brand ambassadors. So CoverGirl added James Charles, Maybelline had Manny Yue, MAC Cosmetics added Gabriel Zamora, and then Jeffree Star, who owns Jeffree Star Cosmetics, is sort of a statistical outlier because he owns his brand. So I wouldn't really count him as a brand ambassador because he owns his brand, but he's important nonetheless. Other brands started creating lines that were specifically advertised. So it wasn't just they added a few male influencers, they created entire lines dedicated to this. So Chanel released their Boy de Chanel in the end of 2018 in places like South Korea, and it's coming to the American market. I think it's here now. It came in the beginning of 2019. Tom Ford started advertising towards men back in, I think, halfway through 2018, and then Clinique also had their entire skincare line for men. So my conclusion was the cosmetic industry should both continue to include male influencers in campaigns and also focus more on advertising that is directed towards male consumers, because male consumers have proven that they do have an interest in the cosmetics industry and what it stands for, and they want to be included in that. And then that's just our big bibliography at the end.
Okay.